It's almost midnight, and you're rewriting the same text for the fourth time, to someone who has never once told you what you actually are. Not a couple, not nothing. And you still can't stop. Here's the part no one says out loud. You're not hooked on them. You're hooked on not knowing. You keep telling yourself the same thing. If nothing changes by next month, you're out. And then a single good morning text lands, the clock resets, and somehow it's 3 months later and you're still here, still guessing. You've gotten fluent in reading nothing. A slow reply means one thing on Monday and the opposite on Thursday. And here's the strange part. The less sure you are of where you stand, the more you seem to want them. That's backwards. It should work the other way around. There's a study that explains exactly why the not knowing makes the wanting stronger. Hold on to that, because it's the thing that finally gets you out. If you want the science of why you do what you do, the actual mechanism under the messy human stuff like this, subscribe. That's the whole ask. Now, back to why you can't leave. So let's name what's actually happening. This is the uncertainty hook. And the first thing to understand is that the problem was never really them. I know it feels like them. The specific laugh, the way they text you back at odd hours, the 3 perfect nights you keep replaying. But the thing keeping you awake isn't the person. It's the open question. Are we something or aren't we? Your brain hates an open question like that. It can't file it away, so it keeps it open in a tab that never quite closes, running in the background all day, pulling your attention back again and again. And here's why that matters. An unanswered question about someone doesn't cool the feeling down. It keeps it warm, which is a very different problem than being in love, and it has a very different way out. Here's the study. Back in 2011, 3 psychologists, Whitchurch, Wilson, and Gilbert, ran a simple experiment. They showed women the profiles of men who had supposedly already rated them. One group was told these men liked them a lot. Another group was told the ratings were somewhere in the middle. And a third group was left uncertain. The men had rated them either highly or just average, and they had no way of knowing which. Now, which group do you think ended up most attracted to the men? It wasn't the women who were told they were liked a lot. It was the uncertain group. The ones who didn't know were the most drawn in of everyone. And when the researchers dug into why, the answer was almost funny in how simple it was. The uncertain women couldn't stop thinking about the men. And the more they thought about them, the more they wanted them. So sit with that for a second. The not knowing wasn't the obstacle between you and the feeling. The not knowing was the engine making the feeling. One honest limit. This was a small lab study, college students rating profiles, not a law of the universe. Uncertainty can turn the volume up on attraction. It doesn't prove uncertainty is love. And this isn't a women thing. The study used women, but the hook isn't about who you are. It's about not knowing. But you have felt this exact thing, haven't you? That explains the pull. But it doesn't explain the jolt. That little electric hit when their name finally lights up your phone after 2 days of silence. Why does a random text from them feel better than a steady one from someone reliable and available? Here's the uncomfortable answer. Back in 2001, a neuroscientist named Gregory Berns put people in a brain scanner and gave them small rewards, a squirt of juice or water. Sometimes the reward came on a predictable schedule. Sometimes it came at random. And the brain's reward centers responded hardest not when the reward was biggest, but when it was unpredictable. The surprise itself was the amplifier. So run that on your situationship. The reliable person who texts every morning barely registers. The one who might reply in 10 minutes or 10 hours? Every ping is a small jackpot. Their inconsistency isn't a flaw you can fix by being more patient or more lovable. The inconsistency is the engine. One honest caveat: that was juice in a scanner, not a text from your crush. The wiring is suggestive, not proof. But you know that jackpot feeling is real. So here's the move. And it's going to feel backwards because it's the opposite of what the hook wants you to do. The hook wants you to wait. Stay available, stay easy, stay uncertain, and hope the ambiguity sorts itself out in your favor. Don't wait. Collapse the uncertainty on purpose. Ask the one direct question you've been carefully avoiding for months. Are we heading somewhere, yes or no? And then, this is the hard part. Hold still for the answer. Don't rescue them from the silence. Don't soften it into no pressure whenever. Ask it clean and let it sit. Because this is the thing the hook cannot survive: a clear answer. The moment the question gets answered, the tab closes, the background noise stops, and the feeling loses the fuel it's been running on. And if what comes back is a warm, familiar, "I don't know," sit with that. A repeated "I don't know" is not a maybe. It's the answer. It's a no in a kinder outfit. The move isn't to leave. The move is to end the not knowing, and then believe what you find. Now, why do some people get hooked so much harder than others? You've probably watched a friend shrug off the exact situation that has you completely wrecked. That's not because you're weaker. It comes down to how your alarm system learned to work. Researchers who study adult attachment, Michellenser and Shaver, have spent decades on this, describe something they call a hyperactivating strategy. In plain terms, for some people, when a connection feels uncertain or just out of reach, the attachment alarm in the brain doesn't quiet down. It gets louder. You think about them constantly. You scan every message for a clue. You feel it in your chest. And here's the cruel trick: that constant alarm can start to feel like love, because it feels like it matters this much. But an alarm is not a bond. A bond is calm. A bond is knowing where you stand and being able to breathe. An alarm is a smoke detector screaming while you tell yourself the noise must mean, this is important. And this part matters. It's a pattern, not a diagnosis. Attachment runs on a spectrum. There's no disorder here, no label to pin on yourself. It's just a tendency you can learn to spot. And spotting it is most of the work. And here's the last piece, the one that quietly resolves the whole thing. You're not actually waiting for them. You're waiting for the version of them you met in the 3 best moments. The one who was fully present that one perfect weekend. That version is real. You didn't imagine it. But it's the peak, not the average. And you're not dating the peak. You're dating the average of how they treat you, week in and week out. The uncertainty is exactly what lets you keep swapping the average for the highlight reel. Because as long as it stays undefined, you get to believe the best version is the real one, and it's about to arrive any day now. But potential isn't a person. You can't build a relationship with who someone could be on their best day. You can only build one with who they actually are on an ordinary Tuesday. So look at the Tuesdays. So run it on your own situation. That cold then warm whiplash. If you're honest, what came back wasn't relief. It was more, a spike, a rush. Bigger than a steady, available person has ever made you feel. That spike right there, that's the hook. It's not the depth of your love. It's the size of your uncertainty. One honest note before we close. This is education, not therapy. And all of this assumes ordinary dating ambiguity, the garden variety situationship. If someone is deliberately manipulating you, or you ever feel genuinely unsafe, that's a different conversation. And a licensed therapist is the right person for it. We're just naming a mechanism so you can see it clearly enough to choose. Here's the whole thing then. You can't leave because you were never really hooked on them. You're hooked on the not knowing. The uncertainty keeps them living rent-free in your head. Every unpredictable warm text hits like a small jackpot. And if your system already runs anxious, the constant alarm starts to feel like love. But an alarm isn't a bond. And the potential you're waiting for isn't the person you're actually dating. So here's the move, and you can do it today. Ask the one question you've been avoiding. Are we heading somewhere? Yes or no? Send it. Then sit still for the answer, instead of softening it for them. Because the hook cannot survive a clear answer. And if all you get back is another, I don't know, then that was your answer the whole time. Subscribe for more of the mechanism under the messy human stuff. The human code. The science of why you do what you do.